Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I want to talk to you and with you about what's been going on with me. If you found my channel from my podcast, Julia's Truckin' Cafe Truckin' News Hour, welcome. I want to discuss why there hasn't been any podcast episodes lately. I know I don't have to explain anything to anyone, but you, my audience, are very important to me. And especially if you've been a consistent viewer for over the past 8 years. I greatly appreciate your continued support. So if you've been following me, you know that about 2 years ago I retired from trucking, driving truck over the road. I wanted to be home, and I just became burned out from driving so many miles a week, 3,000 plus. And the way people are driving, it was hard to keep my safe driving miles of 5,000 miles. So in May of 2024, I retired and took some time off. In September of 2024, I found a spotting job. This is what a spotting truck looks like. Some areas call this a yard mule. Some areas call this a spotter. Some areas call this a yard jockey. I found a job at a paper mill about 10 miles from my home. I worked there about a year. But then the employer wanted to take this truck that only does 35 miles an hour and to shuttle trailers across town. This means you have to dolly up the landing gear and the peg legs under the trailer, and when you get to the warehouse, you have to lower them back down again. And after a year of doing that, that just wasn't for me. And I was doing about 20 trailers a day while I was working for that mill. After a while, it was just getting too old and becoming too hard on the whole body. Now, before I started this yard spotting job, I was hugely overweight. There's me on the left in 2024. There's me on the right a year later in 2025 after starting this spotting job. I lost 50 pounds. And yes, that's the same shirt. My shoulders just couldn't take all that cranking of the handle and raising and lowering them landing gear. In September of 2025, I found a different spotting job that didn't have to shuttle trailers across town. This is a different paper mill in Alabama. One that recycles bales of shredded paper, you know the type, and makes hand towels or cartons for Chick-fil-A and other types of recycling items. This new paper mill, the spotters there would move over 100 trailers a night for 3 of us. So I was moving between 30 to 40 trailers a night by myself. In April of this year, a load of cases was loaded on a wrong trailer. Now what I mean by that is the load of cases was headed to California. And California has very specific regulations about what types of trailers can come into the state. When the driver that was taking this load to California found out that the load was loaded on the wrong trailer, he brought it all the way back to Alabama. Us spotters then had to move that trailer to the dock so that it could be unloaded, and the load could then be moved to a trailer that was California compliant. But no one in the shipping office knew anything about where the load was when the driver came to pick it up several days later. No one even informed the carrier of the new trailer number of the same load. I was the one, but I knew about it. I was the one that moved it from the dock door to the lot where it was parked. The paperwork couldn't be redone because the load was considered already shipped out, and the paperwork was out of their computer system. So the paperwork had to have been done by hand manually. Once I learned that no one had any of the paperwork from the driver, I decided to check the back of the trailer. So, lo and behold, I opened up the paperwork, and there it was, sitting stuck to the cases way up beyond my reach. I attempted to climb up into the trailer. I grabbed the left hand door jamb, put my foot up on the bumper of the ICC bumper. I put my right arm down to boost myself up, and all of a sudden I heard a horrendous where it was just like you were deboning chicken. I'm like, that's gonna hurt. Now, I completely forgot in the meantime that we had stairs that were on wheels that rolled around. That you could use them, park it sideways next to the back of the trailer, and climb up the steps to get into the trailer. And I'm like, a coworker reminded me of that fact. I went, and it was 2 seconds after this happened. I'm like, oh, hell. So I closed the doors, and I hooked to the trailer, and I moved it around, and I backed it up, and then I, with the sore shoulder, after I heard the ripping sound, I moved them stairs. Get this right. I'm not trying to advertise for my orthopedic guy. I moved them stairs to the trailer with the sore shoulder, and I worked the rest of the night. I worked the 12 hours the rest of the night. And I got all the paperwork and everything straight for the driver, and they were able to go on. And that was a Monday night, April 6th. A lot of things happened on April 6th, that weekend, Easter weekend. Well, I had the next night off, Tuesday night off. And I was supposed to work the Wednesday. That was would have been the 8th of April. I called my boss. I said, nope, ain't going to happen. And so I said, the shoulder's not going to take it. So I had 4 days off. Then I told him, I said, I'm not going to screw up the shoulder for 1 day of work when you need me for 2 days over the weekend. So not to leave the crew short. There was only 3 of us working each crew during the days and then at night. So I turned around and had 4 days off. By that Saturday of that weekend, that would have been about the 11th or so, the shoulder was feeling good. Okay, so I went to work. I didn't move a whole lot. I took it easy on it, didn't use it a whole lot. And Sunday, I moved 32 trailers. And I'm like, that ain't no good. Again, Monday I had off. Tuesday, first thing out of the box. Got a hold of a trailer. Now the trailer handles are about up to my nose. So I'm having to reach. And I had to use both hands on this trailer door because these trailers are old, they're rusty, they're ratty. I used both hands to open up the door, and it pulled. That's my right shoulder. So, and this is inverted, and this is spun around. So it's my right shoulder, and it tore, it pulled it. Didn't tear it again, but it pulled it. I'm like, nope, not doing this no more. I went to get seen. Now, in that whole week, I iced it, taking ibuprofen and everything, and I'm like, well, maybe it just pulled it a little bit, maybe it's not hurt that bad. Let me see what happens. Well, after that following Tuesday, I'm like, yeah, I did something to it. So I went and I got seen. And I turned around and went and get seen. And after 3 sets of x-rays and an angiogram. An angiogram is where they take a 22-inch gauge needle. 22 gauge, I should say, not inch. 22 gauge needle, and put it into the joint to inject contrast, the dye, so they could see what's going on with the muscles for MRI. You talk about hurt, I about come off the table. Now, mind you, you're laying like this. You got the x-ray box like right to your nose, so it's like this, but you're laying back because he's watching the x-ray while he's trying to inject all this dye into the joint of my shoulder. My shoulder's never been the same. This is going on pretty close, 3 weeks. And my shoulder hasn't been the same since. I'm like, not doing that again. Hell, no. No, no, no. So, the diagnosis is I have a tear anterior, the forward side of the rotator cuff. And as you can see here, there's the tear. You'll see it's right in front of the deltoid muscle. There's a tear. My tear is not that bad. And that it's a spinous tendon that attaches to your humerus right here. My tear is not that bad. It's not all the way through. It's quarter to half way through. But these are all of the other tendons and muscles, subscapularius muscles. I have tendinosis in those muscles. And then not the deltoid muscle, that remains tight. And then the supraspinaceus muscle, I have tendinitis in that. And then you have your scapula, the bone in the back. So up until now, I couldn't use my right arm. I went to urgent care, saw an orthopedic doctor, went to see an orthopedic surgeon who said that I have that slight tear of the rotator tendon, not the muscle itself, but the tendon that attaches to the arm right in the shoulder. Hence why I'm wearing the splint. I'm doing everything left-handed right now. I can use my arm minimally. Right now I'm in physical therapy till the end of June. I will be coming to Wisconsin. Anybody that's watching this in Wisconsin, I will be up in the hometown, not saying where that is, the first week of June. So I'm coming to Wisconsin. At the end of June, after my travels, I have another appointment with the surgeon to see if the physical therapy has worked or not. Or do I still need to do surgery? So this is the reason why I haven't been able to create any trucking videos. Between the pain, not be able to get comfortable, the reason why I'm even wearing, most of the times I don't wear the sling, but the reason why I'm wearing it today is because the arm just needed to get comfortable, and I still can't really even get it situated right. It's just weird. And when I try to shove my arm down in there, it either gets real tight or, and then this sling is pretty cool. And I won't, so we got the shoulder, and then you got around the backside too. I'm kind of disappearing here. But you got it around your torso as well. So, yeah. Now, why do I want to tell you this story? It's not for self-pity by any means. As I mentioned before, it's to explain why I disappeared for a while. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please stay tuned for podcast videos. I'm working on them as best I can. And I greatly, greatly appreciate all of you tuning in all of the time. Please like and subscribe this video. I don't want to put this kind of content on my trucking channel. I really want to keep trucking for trucking. Do the trucking news and this kind of thing. But personal stuff that's going on, hence, or personal views or opinions or anything like that, this is why I have the Bitchin channel. It's not just Bitchin. I thought it would be a cute name. You know, it's like, what is she bitching about now? So, yeah. And my hair looks a wreck, but yay. You know. So, see y'all in Wisconsin in a couple of weeks. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. And happy Memorial Day.